Yeah, listen. So let's get into some of these rookies. Bro. Obviously, we could talk about one of the top names off the board, Cam Ward. I think it'd be a good play for us to start on, man. How you feel about Cam Ward in Tennessee? Goes to a situation where there's really no weapons. He's one of the last picks in quarterbacks wise in Superflex or Dynasty. We can talk about either one if you want, but I think there's some appeal here, obviously based on the talent. He was a stud coming out, but like not a whole lot of weapons outside of Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley. I don't know if he's set up for that CJ Stroud type season, but could be that kind of value late in your draft.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Cam Ward may be a victim of just like kind of being overhyped in such a weak quarterback draft class. And I just think that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like he went number 1 overall. Yeah, he is talented. You know what I mean? Like he's mad accurate. You know what I mean? I like his demeanor. I like the fire that he brings. But how that's going to translate to fantasy, I don't know. If he can really blow it out of the water, I don't see a world where he can just with his pieces. I'm not writing off Calvin Ridley. You know what I mean? I think Tony Pollard is an underrated asset. I think they got a good defense. I think that they got a good, a decent O-line. But as far as him going as a fantasy quarterback, I don't know. I wouldn't put him in like the top 15, top 17.
We just have seen it. We saw it happen with Bo Nix last year. It happened with CJ Stroud last year. These elite quarterbacks, there's going to be one of the quarterbacks that forces their way into the top 15. It's going to happen. And I don't know if it's Cam Ward or not. It definitely ain't. Maybe it should.
It could be Shedeur, but
it's not looking. It's not looking good. But
it's not looking good. No, but I mean, if you think about it, like you think about those examples you gave, right? Stroud's good. Stroud's NFL ready coming out. Cam Ward's NFL ready coming out too. But it's like these rookie quarterbacks breaking into the top 15. If Cam Ward got drafted last year, he probably wouldn't be a first rounder.
I hear what you're saying, but it's not that. It's the principle of like the offense has to go through the quarterback. And if they get the starting role, they might be more ready than it looks like. They might be better than it appears on the surface. So
anything might happen.
Yeah, but the thing with Bo Nix last year, he don't have no weapons around him. It's just Cortland Sutton and it's Javonte Williams. Like there's no weapons. He goes and puts on a top 12 performance. The year before that, CJ Stroud. He doesn't. All he has is Nico Collins. There's nothing here. Then he goes out and performs. It was him and like Damian Pierce was still the running back. Damian Pierce. So I look at the same thing in Tennessee, and I'm like, are we disrespecting Cam Ward a little bit too much? But it's like there's a lot of good quarterbacks this year in the draft.
There's a lot of good quarterbacks, but also like the Bo Nix example, like who's calling the plays over there?
Sean Payton.
A guru, right? Who's calling the plays in Tennessee?
I mean, Callahan ain't bad. Callahan ain't bad.
Callahan ain't bad, but I mean, what's his track record?
I mean,
Cincinnati offense. Cincinnati, but I mean, does he got T. Higgins? Does he got Jamar Chase?
He got Calvin Ridley.
He got
Calvin Ridley.
He got Calvin. I mean, and I really like the guy. I really want him to win because I do love him. I do love his personality. Like I like, what I'm saying, he's like a dog. He's a dog. He's a competitor. Fantasy wise, I don't know, man. I just don't see a path to it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like if I'm looking like that, it seems like there might be a little value with Cam Ward in super flex leagues. I would not want to mess my second. If I'm being honest, I don't want to mess my second QB. What about Travis Hunter? Because obviously Travis Hunter, wide receiver, cornerback. I don't know how you feel about him right now. Like he went second in the draft, but a lot of that was due to his ability to play both sides of the field, right? So he walks into a situation. Trevor Lawrence obviously needs a mega year. New offensive coach in Liam Cohen. And obviously, like Brian Thomas had the year he did, and he's a beast, right? So where do you got Travis Hunter in fantasy? Because he's going like back end wide receiver 3, high end wide receiver 4 right now in drafts.
Back end wide receiver 3, high end wide receiver 4. I think that's good. Wide receiver 4 right now. I think he's the 34th rated wide receiver on ESPN at least.
Yeah, it's early. It's still early.
Yeah, it's still early, but he's going over guys like Chris Olave, Jordan Addison. He's going over Cooper Kupp, Diggs, Chris Godwin, Debo. like your boy Pittman. I would rather have a lot of those guys over him. Just being real, like he is. I think his fantasy value is being inflated by how high he was drafted, and he was drafted because he could play two positions.
Yes.
He wasn't the best cornerback coming out of this draft, and he's not the best wide receiver coming out of this draft. But the fact that he could play both, they traded up for him and made him wide receiver too. His situation is a good situation, right? They got a really good play caller over there. He's got an alpha wide receiver and what I think is an underrated quarterback throwing the ball, right? But I just don't see him being as elite, like dynasty wise. I don't see him being like an elite asset I'm going to chase. I don't see it. I don't see it.
So when you say elite, because we and you have talked elite like before, you have a very distinct version of elite. Like there's only select guys that can be elite, not 10, 12, right? So I want to scrap that because I think that I don't know that I expect Travis Hunter to ever be a top 5 receiver in the league or in fantasy, right? I don't know if I ever expect that. But for fantasy purposes, elite could be like wide receiver 1. Somebody could be like, I think he'll be a wide receiver 1 sooner than later. Do you see a path this year to like high-end wide receiver 2, top 15 wide receiver value for Travis Hunter?
So. I mean, they're like the setup can be there, but I think that you would have to have like an injury to Brian Thomas. I don't think that offense can support with a rookie wide receiver. Him being a rookie wide receiver, I don't think he could be a top 15.
Man, so here's my thought on Travis Hunter. It's not that I think he'll be consistent or that I think I would ever draft him in the top 30 receivers. I do think he'll finish as like a top 25 receiver though when it's all said and done. Because
you said top 15 though. You said top 15.
I don't know. Yeah, he could. I think he has the upside. I was asking like, do you think he could ever finish there? I do think he could finish top 15. I think he'll finish somewhere in the top 25. Like when it's all said and done, the reason why I think that is because he doesn't feel like one of those players that's going to be 8 targets this week, 10 targets this week, 7. Like he's not going to be consistent, but he will provide like that big playability and some of that just like superstar shit you can't teach. I kind of think like Odell Beckham. When I think like Travis Hunter, I think Odell Beckham, like where he'll have a week where he'll have 150 yards and then like 3 TDs and 8 catches. And then the next week he might have 2 catches for 29 yards. Like I think he's going to be that kind of player, but they're going to find matchup advantages for Travis Hunter. And I could see him being one of those like weekly winners, not necessarily, but a guy that also like causes you to lose some weeks because of his down games.
Yeah. And you think about like, he's like, hey, I'm playing both sides. I'm playing both sides. That's never been done, right? And if you're really good at, like if you have to learn the entire offense, yeah, cool. You know what I mean? Like he's a great guy, but you're learning an offense, and then you have to go and learn these complex schemes on defense. You can't go out there and be like, I'm going to play both sides, and then just, coach, put me in man, right? Yeah. And they're going to carve his ass up. So it's something we've never seen before, and I just don't think he's. I just don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's that talented, bro. I don't think he's that like a crazy talented.
That's a little harsh. It's a little harsh in my opinion because I think that's why you draft him at number 2 because you know what kind of receiver he is. Like you think Tet's
you draft him at number 2 because he can
Tet's
play
have a better season than him?
What?
You think Tet's gonna have a better season than him? T-Mac, Tet McMillan.
I think Tet is a better wide receiver prospect than him. I think Tet carved his ass up when they played. So I think Tet's a better wide receiver than he is. Yeah. Put it like this: if Tet was drafted,
do you think Tet's gonna have a better season than him?
Their situations are different. Their situations are different. Their situations are different.
Let me ask you a question. You think Tet's gonna have a better season than him?
I would put money saying Tet. I don't know if I put money saying Tet's gonna have a better season than him. I don't know. Their situations are different.
Bro, how you answer that question 3 different ways and still not answer the question?
And the same way? No, I'm trying to tell you because it's like Tet, like you don't know what you're gonna get out of that quarterback, right? There's other. Okay, fuck it. I say Tet has a better season in him.
I think so. I think Travis has a better season overall than Tet. I think the Tet McMillan love has gone kind of crazy. He's going like as a top 24 receiver in underdog drafts right now. I'm like.
That's crazy.
Ain't that wild? Oh, like what are they?
Let me ask you something though. You think he has a better season than Rome?
Rome's gonna be him. Roman's gonna be him.
Yeah, okay, for sure.
Rome's gonna be him.